Behind me is a graveyard of empty lots that used to be home. You can pull this up in Google Street View and see the houses that used to be here. I want to explain why there aren't houses being built here now, and how a brewery opening up almost 60 years after Prohibition might help us explain this. Actually, let's start with the brewery. In 1991, Tom Schlafly wanted to open up a brew pub. He wanted to open it up in St. Louis, Missouri, which seemed like a great fit because it's sort of the beer capital of the world. But here's the thing, despite beer being nationally legal across the country, there were still local laws on the books that kept it from happening. One of those is that you could have a brewery that distributes, and you could have a pub where you sell beer, but they couldn't be both. Why would St. Louis have a law like that? If you think about it, that law kind of favors Anheuser-Busch. If you wanted to start a beer business, you probably want to be able to sell your own beer at your own place. And if they don't allow people to sell beer at their own place, they won't have any competitors arise within the city. So even though it sounds absurd on the outset, you can kind of understand why a big brewery might like a law that keeps breweries from opening. But what does it have to do with all these empty lots and the lack of housing? Think of it like this. If a bunch of our regulations have sort of forced us into this housing crisis, the companies that have survived amidst these regulations sort of want them to stay the same. That is to say, if you can thrive within this environment, you're incentivized to keep this environment so that you don't have new competitors. It should be more shocking to us when a big out-of-state developer is building things downtown. Like, why aren't the small local developers building there? It's probably in part because it's a system complicated to navigate. Those who can navigate it don't want to see that system changed. So how could we change this? Let's go back to Tom Schlafly. In his case, it wasn't just that brew pubs were illegal, it's that there wasn't even a system in place in which a small brewery could exist. So yeah, he had to change the law, but there was no licensing path for small neighborhood breweries or zoning to accommodate it. There were layers of approvals, uncertainty, and risk that he had to navigate without a roadmap. Yet when he was able to finally pull it off, he did something. He became the roadmap. And in his wake, dozens of microbreweries across St. Louis have opened up to this day. And this is part of what's going to have to happen in your city. It's not going to be a single piece of legislation or even a mayoral term that's going to get everything done, but small acts of individuals creating new pathways for the people that follow behind them. The companies benefiting from this current system aren't going to be motivated to change the system. You're going to need to find new ways to support those fighting in the trenches, carving new pathways, building in the ways that we need our towns built most.